Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater. And the topic of an R-rated Marvel Cinematic Universe movie has come up time and time again. Fans, man, they want it. They want it bad. They want it now. They looked at Deadpool and Logan and Blade and The Punisher and they thought to themselves, why, oh, why can't Marvel do this? Well, turns out they've actually been thinking about it and maybe kind of lightly tossing the idea around. So one of the great things about James Gunn is that this dude is really open with his fans. He will talk with them on Facebook chat. He'll do Facebook live streams. He'll always answer questions. He is a real class act when it comes to engaging with the audience. And one of the things that he did was be asked a question about an R-rated movie coming from the MCU. Now, his response here is, we've discussed it before, we've talked about it. I don't think there's ever been a movie that Marvel said, hey, this should really be R-rated at the end of the day of the movies we've made so far. Then he went on to say, I think that if this ever came up, that'd be a discussion that everybody would have to have. So who knows? I don't think it's out of the question. Now, this isn't a definitive yay or nay in terms of whether or not we will ever get an R-rated film in the MCU, but as movies like Deadpool and like Logan come out more, because we're going to see more of it, we're going to see more kind of gritty, hard-hitting, R-rated comic book fare material, it's entirely possible that Marvel, and by, default Disney, might change their tune on this, but I don't think we're going to get it in the way that many of us want it, right? I would love to see an R-rated Blade movie coming back to theaters. I loved Blade 1, 2, and 3. Yes, with 3 being a little bit out there, but still fun nonetheless. Wesley Snipes, I feel, was born to play the role of Blade, and I liked the work he did on it, and I'd like to see him come back, and I know he is more than willing to come back into it. But let's be perfectly fair here. The Marvel Cinematic Universe machine, the amount of movies they're churning out a year, this year, their 9th year, sees 3 releases. And next year sees 3 releases. And going forward, 3 releases. And I'm sure one day we'll see 4 as they start to overload their slate with sequels and new characters and team-up films and ensemble pieces, so on and so forth. And we're going to probably see the R-rated side of the MCU come out in terms of Netflix. Now, I have long said that Marvel should not only focus on the TV shows like, Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Iron Fist, those kind of having varying degrees of content worthy of different ratings. I mean, clearly, Daredevil is borderline rated R in the first season. Season 2 is probably very much rated R. Jessica Jones, same thing. Iron Fist and Luke Cage, probably more on the PG-13 side. I feel they lightened up a bit for those 2 franchises and those 2 series. And so who knows what the Defenders is going to bring. That little teaser this morning was not a lot, but awesome to see them all together, even if it was for 16 seconds. The point is that the Punisher show is coming. That's what I want to talk about. The Punisher show is coming, and John Bernthal as Frank Castle, we know how violent and bloody that got in season 2 of Daredevil. That blood, that carnage, that gore is going to probably transfer over to the Netflix series, which are not relegated by rating. So as much as we want an R-rated movie, what we want, I would honestly argue, is probably more of mature content and the handling of that material, which I think is what we get with the cinematic universe side of things on Netflix. Now, if only they would just combine the goddamn universes, we as fans could be very much happy. But I think the fact that James Gunn says they've talked about it, but they haven't gotten to that point yet, pretty much means that they aren't even looking at that as an option right now, because these movies just churn out money. They make so much money in the overhead, considering the fact that they own Lucasfilm, they own, Industrial Light and Magic, they own Skywalker Sound, which does all the special effects for these movies. It's a much lower overhead. Right now, their primary, probably a financial expenditure is casting costs. but they know how to market it and how to make money. And we're probably not going to see anything R-rated as maybe a gimmick until the Marvel Cinematic Universe starts to kind of wane and maybe perhaps dip off in terms of earnings, because there's going to eventually be a saturation point. 3 movies in a year is a lot. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited, but it's a lot. And after Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, a lot of people I've talked to, not a great deal, but a few people, I should say, have said that after those movies, they're probably going to not be as excited for the cinematic universe any longer, because that's kind of like the big moment. And it's after that we might start to see some of these films not perform as well because they kind of blew their load on that. So maybe, just maybe, we'll hear something coming post 2020 in terms of what to expect. But if I had to bet money, I would say we'll probably see more mature content on Netflix going forward. Based on the popularity of those shows, the fact that Iron Fist was the most binge-watched new series that they've produced, then I'm sure we'll probably, here's the thing, when they release Punisher later on this year, people are going to lose their shit, and it's going to be binge watched excessively over the weekend, which is only going to show them that content is popular, and therefore Netflix is the right vehicle for distribution. And so we'll probably see more content like that going to Netflix, which leads me to believe wholeheartedly that we will see Blade once again, but not as a movie, but as a TV series. And that, if done properly, can have a greater impact on the character and our enjoyment of it than seeing a movie in theaters. And I'm more than happy to see what happens next as a result of that. I'm excited nonetheless, but I don't want them to force it. You know what I mean? I want them to focus on it in a way that's going to benefit the fans and definitely give us some great content further down the road. Anyway, my name is Matt Jarbo. You've been listening to 3 Buck Theater. What are your thoughts on this? Do you feel that they will ever give us that kind of movie, the R-rated movie in theaters, or is it something we're probably just going to get on Netflix? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video, share it around if you like it, get your friends in on the conversation, subscribe for new content daily. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Peace out.